Hello, everyone. It is I, T-Bone, and welcome back to another exciting episode of 7 Days to Die. And today, I am going to do the first installment on a series dealing with weapons. Weapons. So, the weapons we're going to be looking at today are explosive weapons. So, we'll be looking at explosives. We're going to talk about how to craft them, how to use them, and of course, the skill and the perk you're going to need to be able to get these weapons. So let's go ahead and actually take a look at that first. So we're going to go over to our skills right up here. And here I am in my different skills, and these are the different attributes up here at the top. And right now I am in the perception attribute. And if you go to the perception attribute, notice down here under combat perks that you're going to have a perk called Demolitions Expert. This is the perk you're going to need to be able to craft these explosive devices. So let's go ahead and select that and take a look. So here we go. We've got our 5 different levels of Demolitions Expert, ranging from the initiate all the way down to the expert. So let's take a look at each one of these different levels quickly and see what you can craft at these different levels. So at level 1, we're going to be able to craft pipe bombs, pressure plate mines, and cooking pot mines. And of course, you'll notice that there is an increase in damage at this level. So pretty cool. Let's move up to level 2. At level 2, you'll be able to craft Dynamite and the Hubcap Landmines, which again is pretty cool. All right, moving up, we've got the Explosives Handler. And at this level, you're able to craft grenades, and you'll be able to make more efficient stacks of gunpowder, which you are going to need to be able to create these devices. Next, level 4. At level 4, Rocket Man will be able to create explosive rockets and anti-personnel rockets, and that is for the rocket launcher. And we're not going to be covering the rocket launcher in this episode. We'll save that for another one. And of course, the last level 5 is the Demolitions Expert, and this will unlock the timed charges, the contact grenades, and the air filter landmines. Now, of course, you can find the blueprints for these devices throughout the world, but if you get the actual perk level, you can actually create these devices a little bit cheaper. So that is one way you can unlock these devices, is put some of your skill points into Demolitions Expert. Or like I said, you can find the blueprints out in the world as you're plundering and pillaging the wasteland. All right, so let's take a look at our first category. We're going to take a look at thrown explosives. So these are the 6 basic types of thrown explosives in the game. So up here at the very top, we have the pipe bomb. Pipe bomb. And you notice over on the left, this is what you're going to need to be able to craft the pipe bomb. Now, almost all of these, you're going to need to craft these at your workbench, except for the Molotov cocktail. You do not need to craft that at your workbench. You can just craft that right there in your backpack. All right, but all these other ones, you are going to have to craft these at the workbench. So for the pipe bomb, you're going to need 1 pipe. You're going to need 12 gunpowder, and you're going to need 1 plant fiber for the pipe bomb. Now, the pipe bomb, it does about 253 points against entities. So if you were to throw this at a zombie and it explodes, it's going to do about 253 points of damage, and it has a blast radius of about 5. Now, against a structure or against blocks, it's pretty weak. It's only going to do about 5 points to block. So this is not something that you're going to use against a structure. This is used basically against those zombie goons. All right, next up we have Dynamite, stick of dynamite. So over here on the left, you can see this is what you're going to need: 10 paper, 20 gunpowder, 2 rolls of duct tape, and 1 plant fiber to create 1 stick of dynamite. Now, dynamite is kind of an oddball. It does a lot of entity damage. It does about 250 points to those zombie goons, but it does more damage against blocks and against structures. So if you're trying to, blow a vault door open, this is what you're going to want to use rather than a pipe bomb. So this does about 3,000 points of damage against blocks. It has a blast radius of about 5. So a little bit, larger blast radius. So pretty good against buildings, and again against entities it does about 550 points. Next up is the Molotov cocktail. I love the Molotov cocktail. So over on the left, you'll see what you need to craft the Molotovs. You're going to need 1 empty water jar. You're going to need 300 units of gas, which is a lot of gas, and then 1 oil and 1 cloth fragment. So it's fairly easy to craft except for the gas requirement. It is heavy on the gas. So unless you have a lot of gasoline laying around, you're going to be limited in the number of Molotov cocktails you can craft. Now, if you watch my video on how to make gas, then you probably have as much gas as you want, so you can make as many Molotov cocktails as you want. But in the early game, gas is going to be at a premium, so it may be difficult for you to craft a lot of these unless you have a lot of gas. So the Molotov is going to do about 250 points of damage to entities if they're burning for the entire time. I think the burn time is around 15 seconds, 16 seconds total burn time. So if the entity is trapped in that bird radius, which is not huge, I think it's about 3 blocks, it's going to take up to a total of 250 hit points. And of course, these zombie goons will catch on fire and they will continue to burn, which is pretty awesome. So I love the Molotov cocktails, especially on the Horde nights. So yeah, get yourself some Molotovs. They're pretty great. And next up, we have the grenade. All right, so the grenade. Over here, you can see what you need to craft your grenade. You're going to need some mechanical parts, just 1, 14 gunpowder, 1 spring, and 4 forged iron. Now, these up here, the pipe bomb and the dynamite, you have about 4 seconds. Once you light the fuse, you have about 4 seconds to throw that item before it detonates. And you could probably survive a pipe bomb detonation, but you are not going to survive a stick of dynamite detonation. So if that's in your hand and it goes off, that's it. You're gone, man. You're zombie food. So you have about 4 seconds to throw these once they are lit. Now, the grenade, once you pull the pin, you can hold on to it as long as you want. But once you throw it, there is about a 3-second delay on this before it actually detonates. So the grenade is going to do about 300 hit points to entities and about 10 points to blocks. So again, not something you're going to use against blocks, definitely something you're going to use against those zombie goons. So that is the grenade. Next up is the contact grenade. So very similar to the regular grenade except you're going to need 2 mechanical parts rather than 1. Okay, and for this guy, there is no delay. As soon as it makes contact with something, it's going to detonate. So you're going to go ahead and pull the pin. You can hold it for as long as you want, but once you throw it and it comes in contact with an entity like a zombie goon or the ground or a block, it is going to detonate. And this one does very similar to the grenade. I think this one's about 310 points of damage that it does against entities and about 10 points to blocks. Has a blast radius of about 4 or 5. So very good. I like this one a lot. That delay is not there. As soon as it hits that zombie goon, it detonates. Pretty great. And then last on the list is the timed charge. So the timed charge is created with 20 scraps of iron, 10 gunpowder, and 1 electrical part to craft 1 timed charge. Now this one's very similar to the stick of dynamite. It does quite a bit of entity damage. It does about 800 points to an entity, but it does about 3,000 points for block damage, which is similar to the stick of dynamite. So this one is great for blowing up structures and blocks. This has a very small blast radius also, so if you want a very focused charge, this is great for, again, blowing holes in building, blowing off a vault door or something like that. And the cool thing about the time charge is it will stick. You can throw it and it will stick to an entity and blow them to smithereens. Pretty awesome. So again, about 800 to entities and about 3,000 damage to blocks. So these 2 items right here are better for blowing up blocks and structures, whereas these 4 are better for destroying those zombie goons. All right, and again, all of these will be crafted at your workbench except for the Molotov cocktail. All right, let's go ahead and move on, guys. Let's move on and check out the other type of explosive device. So those were thrown devices. These are placed devices. So these are your landmines, okay? And there are 5 basic types of mines. And I put them in descending order from the least amount of gunpowder to the most amount of gunpowder needed to craft this item. So let's take a look at this first one. This is the tin landmine right here, the tin landmine. And this one's going to do about 270 points of damage to entities. And it has a radius of about 4, blast radius of about 4. So over here you can see, again, these are the items you're going to need to craft this tin landmine. You're going to need 4 pieces of iron. You're going to need 4 gunpowder. You need 1 nail and 1 duct tape. And the cool thing about this is you do not need a workbench to craft these. These can be crafted right in your backpack. So if you don't have a workbench yet, that's okay. You can still craft the tin landmine, and it is very cheap as far as resources go. All right, next up is the cooking pot mine. And for this, you're going to need 1 forged iron, 5 gunpowder, 1 nail, and 1 duct tape. And the cooking pot does about 300 points of damage to entities. All right, that is the cooking pot mine. Next up, we've got the Hubcap Landmine right here, the Hubcap. So this guy is going to take 1 forged iron, 8 gunpowder, 1 nails, and 1 duct tape. See, those nails do have a use. Okay, you can use those in your landmines. All right, so this little guy over here, he does about 450 points of damage to entities, and his blast radius is a little bit bigger. His blast radius is about 5, so you're going to get more zombie goons, and you're going to cause more damage with the Hubcap Landmine. All right, next on the list is the pressure plate mine. So what do you need for this? You need 30 pieces of iron, 8 gunpowder, 1 spring, which springs can be at a premium. I don't think you should be wasting springs on pressure plate mines. They generally are not worth it. And of course, you're going to need 1 duct tape for the pressure plate mine. Now this one does a measly 75 points of damage, which is pretty poor. It has a blast radius of only 3. So this one, to me, is not really worth the resources. You're better off crafting some of these other items. You're actually better off crafting these tin landmines, to be honest. I'd stay away from this one right here. And then the last one, the air filter landmine. What do you need? You need 1 forged iron, 12 gunpowder, 1 spring, and 1 duct tape to craft your air filter landmine. This one is going to do a whopping 690, so close to 700 points of damage to those zombie goons. And it has a blast radius of about 5, so the same as the hubcap. So these two right here are pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So I would rank them. If I'm going to rank these, then I would say the pressure plate is the worst. Don't waste your time with that one. That would be the worst. And then would be your tin landmine, and then you've got your cooking pot, and then you've got your the hubcap landmine, and then the best is, of course, the air filter landmine. So that is in order of preference. Stay away from the pressure plate landmine. It really is not worth it, to be honest. So let's put these back where they were. That was up there, that's there, and that's there. Okay, so down here, this is some of the items that you're going to need to be able to craft these mines. So if you look, you're going to need duct tape for all of these. You're going to need duct tape. So let's talk a little bit. And of course, you're going to need gunpowder. So how do we craft gunpowder? How do we craft this duct tape? Well, you can find these, obviously, in the world when you're looting, but you do want to be able to craft especially duct tape. So we'll talk about how to craft some duct tape. Oh, starting to rain. Okay, great. All right, now for gunpowder, we'll talk about when we get to our chemistry station. But to craft gunpowder, if you do not have a chemistry station, you're gonna need 2 coal and 2 nitrate powder. But if you have a chemistry station, it's only gonna take 1 coal and 1 nitrate powder. So way more efficient. And we're going to be crafting at the chemistry station. All right, so duct tape. What do you need to craft duct tape? Well, you're going to need 1 glue, and you're going to need 1 cloth fragment to create 1 roll of duct tape. So when you find glue, definitely snatch it up, because glue is great to have for making duct tape. Now, if you can't find glue, you can make glue. You can make glue. So this is how we make glue. So if you don't have a chemistry station, it's going to take 6 bone and 1 murky water to create 1 glue. If you do have a chemistry station, then it's going to take 4 bones and 1 murky water to make 1 glue. And even better is the super corn. So if you have some super corn, you could make glue with 2 ears of super corn and 1 murky water. That's one of the best uses of supercorn, is making glue. And of course, another great use for the ears of supercorn is Grandpa's Awesome Sauce. It is wonderful. You know I love Grandpa's Awesome Sauce, but it also makes Grandpa's Moonshine and Grandpa's Learning Elixir. So the supercorn is pretty great. It is pretty great. All right, let's go make some gunpowder. All right, let's go ahead and show you how it's done. We're going to go outside to the chemistry station. So here we are at my chemistry station. We're going to fuel it up with some coal. So I'm going to grab my stack of coal and I'm going to put it right here into my chemistry station as the fuel source. And you can see as I put coal in, the time starts going up. So I have 25 minutes of burn time. All right. And you notice when I put coal in here that the gunpowder is now selectable. So I'm going to go ahead and select gunpowder. Now you can of course do it this way, and you can go ahead and hit the right arrow to select how much you'd like to create, or you can go ahead and hit the over arrow and you can craft 2,228, right? This is more efficient, however, is the stacks of gunpowder. So let's go ahead and select that. And it looks like I can craft 2 of those. It's going to take 30 minutes. So do I want to craft 2? No, I'm only going to craft 1. Let's just craft 1. All right, now I'm going to hit mix. So let's go ahead and hit mix. And there it is. I am crafting some gunpowder, which is pretty great. I'll come back in 15 minutes and get that. Now, of course, you can see I can also craft some glue. Okay, if I select glue, so there it is. I can make 1 jar of glue from the supercorn, or I can make 1 jar of glue from 4 bones and 1 murky water. All right, but I've got enough glue, so I'm not going to make any glue. I'm just going to make a little gunpowder. All right, so that's how you make gunpowder. You need coal And you need nitrate powder. Those are the two ingredients that you need to make gunpowder. And of course, the best way to make it is in your chemistry station. So let's let the chemistry station do that, and we will go back inside and we will load up with some explosive devices and try them out.